Isekais are everywhere. Every season seems like there's a new isekai. Like, hey, look over there. It's an isekai. What's that in the sky? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's just another person getting transported to another world by a truck. How did isekai even get so popular? Oh yeah, right. Sword Art Online is a thing. Now, isekai may seem like an overdone trope where every new isekai is the same thing but with a different tagline, because it is. I mean, we have masterpieces like In Another World, where baseball is war, a high school ace player will save a weak nation. J.K. Haro is a sex worker in another world. In Another World with my smartphone. In Another World without my smartphone. Reborn as a vending machine, now I wander the dungeon. And Dragon Ball, that time I got reincarnated as Yamcha. Why are there so goddamn many of these isekais? They come out every freaking season. But with how many isekais we get per year, at least 20 titles of those 2,000 titles released were actually pretty good. For the most part, whenever an isekai gets popular, it is usually because it became a game changer for the genre and brought a new aspect to the trope of isekai, such as like ReZero, Sword Art Online, which was the starter of isekai. No Game No Life, Log Horizon, or even Konosuba. That is usually the case. But now, we have a popular one that just came out of nowhere. We have That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime with my smartphone. This is nothing new to the scene, but somehow gained so much popularity. It starts out with a guy who gets stabbed to death and then gets transported or reincarnated to another world because poor Truck-kun is already stuck in another world with our owner's smartphone. And before he died, Satoru Mikami had one final wish. His dying wish for his best friend to do. He wanted his best friend to throw his computer into the bathtub to get rid of his porn history, like the dying wish we all should have before we die. I mean, next we have a dragon who is scary but is also taiga. We have a man who is now a slime. While it's not like the title spoiled the entire show or anything, I feel like the next big hit will be something like That Time I Got isekai to Another World with my truck. Oh wait, that actually is this? Hold up. And it's actually fantastic, and one of the creators is a Chad himself, Lord D. Brigo. I mean, look at this novel. It's absolutely brilliant. But even though this show does nothing really new to the medium of isekai, it doesn't really need to. It had an interesting premise, taking the weakest monster of most isekai and making it the most overpowered. It's like if Log Horizon Overlord had a slimy baby. If I'm being all honest, this show was a fun ride for the most part. There were some parts of the show that made me drop it the first time I watched it, and then the second time I watched it made me rip out my hair. And it has nothing to do with lizard sets. Wait, wrong anime, my bad. Hey, but at least I got the lizard part right. I mean, none of the characters are really spectacular in the first season or really fleshed out. None would really be reveled as some of the best characters in all of anime, but that was not the point of this anime. The anime did nothing to change up anything. The brilliant part about this show is that it fully embraces the genre of isekai. It runs with the idea of it. There was nothing new to the idea of the power fantasy isekai world that we haven't seen before, but it works because it understands the appeal of isekai as an escapism from reality and doesn't fall down the road of trash, but instead becomes so goddamn wholesome, but also lewd. The story didn't completely hook me in, but it also did. Because when I was watching the series, I kept on watching it. It wasn't perfect, but it became like a guilty pleasure. I was enjoying my time watching it. Would it be on the same level as some of my favorite isekais like Konosuba, ReZero, Log Horizon, or even the overly cautious hero? Okay, the last one is not perfect, but goddamn do I love the overly cautious hero. I mean, come on, why aren't we more like Seiya? I mean, he is so cautious, we should always be cautious. I mean, when you play Pokemon, you should be the most cautious. Go into the Route 1 and make your Pokemon, your level 1 Pokemon, your started Pokemon, turn that into level 99 and smoke through everyone. I mean, that's what I do in a Pokemon game. I mean, if you don't, then that's fine, but I always do that because I want to, ace every freaking badge I could. And, oh, I'm getting off script. I'm so sorry, but it doesn't have to be on the same level. It's enjoyable. I could sit down and rewatch this show, unlike shows like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Clannad, or Hunter x Hunter. They may be rated as 10 out of 10s, but I feel like the 10 out of 10s for me are the shows I can rewatch over and over without it getting old, without having to be in a certain mood to watch it. I may love all these shows, but I either have to be in a certain mood to watch it, or if I watch it again, it may not be as good as the first time I watched it, or it may just be hard to just re-binge because of how long it is. But having those guilty pleasures or those animes that you can rewatch on a dime to be able to get the same level of enjoyment out of it are the shows that are usually found in people's top 10s. And honestly, I can understand why people may have this anime within the top 50s. Because of it being a possible rewatch and still having the same level of enjoyment as the last time. I never would have thought I would have given the show another shot until a good friend of mine named Langer told me how much he liked the show, and his passion for the show drove me to rewatch it. And I honestly started to enjoy it more on the second go ahead of the show. I started to appreciate the smaller things. I wasn't focusing on how this could change the meta of Isekai, or just focusing on the flaws of the show. This show gives me the same vibes of like Log Horizon or even Overlord, like I mentioned above. Some people has compared this show to like Konosuba, and I'm not talking about in a joking manner. I'm actually talking about in a serious manner, where they actually criticize this show for not being like Konosuba. Yes, that time guy got reincarnated as slime does have comedy moments, but they aren't focused on it like Konosuba. They aren't focusing on parodying isekais in general, but it's focused on the wholesome moments or how the world changes the main protagonist, or even how the main protagonist changes the world. Sort of like how Luffy is. Luffy changed the world around him, and is somehow changed by the world as well. Like, he takes on the ideals of some of the people he has fought, like Doflamingo, such as like Crocodile. He has taken on the roles of their ideals, their dreams, their wishes, and made it his own. I'm not saying Rimuru and Luffy are like the same protagonist. I think Luffy's a far better protagonist. But that is not the point. I think they're kind of similar in a certain fashion. So as of writing this, I just finished season 1, and I'll branch the rest of my thoughts into 2 parts. The first part being season 1, and the second part being season 2. Now, just off season 1 alone, this show seems more like Log Horizon, by focusing more on the diplomatic moments, the lighthearted moments. I enjoy all the slice of life moments, or the moments of when they are negotiating treaties, or other things like that. The fights were cool to watch, but that was never my focus. Honestly, my favorite moments of the show isn't even Rimuru being OP, or seeing those big boobs of Shion, or the thighs of those elves, or how it goes into my deeper desires. Oh wait, we're still recording, aren't we? The show is at its best when it shows you those wholesome moments, when it shows you the diplomacy that goes into forming a new nation, negotiating with the entire forest. I mean, come on, or other countries. The fights do not bring it down, nor is it a weak part about the show. The fights are really well animated and always fun to watch. And I think the OST matches perfectly with the show. And I think that's also a great part about the show, is that the music is fun to listen to, that even now I'm listening to it right now. But let's face it, it's also really fun to watch all the major flashes from Rimuru as well. So it's pretty much one-shotting an Orc Lord, leader of the Dire Wolves, and just annihilating his opponents. Or even defeating a Demon Lord with honey. I mean, he doesn't want to see a fucking super slime that looks harmless completely decimate his enemies. I am not one who always seeks out fan service either, except if it was Boa Hancock, then goddamn. Take me away to secret place. Sorry, that song just came out to my mind when I thought about Boa and like how she came in like a wrecking ball. Okay, I suck at singing, but hey, it's Boa. Okay, but seriously, the fan service does not ruin the show for me like it does for some other shows, such as Fire Force. I was already losing interest in Fire Force, but they introduced a character that just was nothing but fan service and ruined the show completely for me and made me drop it. Or you get a show like Food Wars, which their fan service is actually comedic moments that actually doesn't feel like fan service to me and just makes me laugh all the time. Now, it's time to discuss season 2, and if you haven't watched it and don't want to be spoiled, then go to the time to avoid spoilers. But if you have seen it, or just don't care enough about this show but love me instead, then please continue on. This show was a blast to watch, and I was excited to start season 2. See some more wholesome moments from the show, see more comedic moments, and to see what the fuck just happened. Wait, what? No, what's happened? Rimuru, well, Rimuru was pissed the fuck off. How did it go from wholesome to dark as shit? What a turn of events, guys. I mean, first we have that dumbass king and his dumbass country of idiot low-life peasants. Honestly, they're all nothing but peasants in that country. What was their name again? Full-Dookie, Fuckmuth, or, oh my bad, Fallmuth. What a bunch of losers. I mean, then you have Clayman. What type of loser named Clayman? Jeez, what a stupid name. Almost as stupid as Taserface. Both those names make me laugh, not terrify me. I don't care if Clayman is like a demon lord. I mean, I would be laughing at him before cowering in fear. But because of their dumbass action, they pissed off Rimuru so much that he made it onto the biggest flush of the anime 21. And what I mean by that is he completely wiped out an entire half of a fucking army. I mean, Rimuru lost all of his humanity, JoJo! Wait, wrong show. And also, isn't Rimuru a slime? So did he actually lose his slimeity? Or does he still have a humanity? Okay, weird question. Either way, the dude fell from grace and became a demon lord. I mean, who wouldn't lose their humanity after seeing close friends get killed and you could do nothing about it? Especially if one of those friends was Shion, and now you will no longer be able to be squashed by her thighs ever again. Yeah, I'm looking at you, weebs. Pick up your pitchforks. Pick up your dojins. Let's go to war. Honestly, I never thought I would cry to this series, but I did. So I ended up getting emotionally attached to a series that I thought was more of me getting entertained. A show that was not even going to make my own top 50. A show that originally I dropped. A show that I laughed at for being just okay. And even when they were revived, it didn't really take away from their effect of their deaths. It made us realize that the only way to bring them back was by having Rimuru change. And I mean, my joy did come back from knowing that the core philosophy of Rimuru changed. His first rule is not to harm humans, but then changed the rule so he could become a demon lord. Rimuru still rules the same way as he always has, but if you threaten his friends, he will kill you. He will annihilate you. And it isn't like Rimuru change. He still has his core philosophies. His just rules changed to a certain extent. Seeing this change started to remind me of Overlord Season 3. No, not the god-awful CGI, but how Ainz actually started being more evil by killing a human hero. That is why it feels like Overlord and Log Horizon had a baby that ended up being born as a slime with their smartphone. Yes, it's true that the series started to change in Season 2, but the core still remains. The lighthearted humor never left, the diplomatic ways never changed, the slice-of-life aspect of the show is still there. I originally thought this show would bring nothing new to the table, and honestly, I did not think they would take a dark turn. But they did! But let's just go back to when Rimuru became a Demon Lord. He claimed the enemies, the humans, that he destroyed nothing but fodder. Rimuru would never have said that. He wanted to befriend humans, but as soon as the humans decided to attack his village and showed their true side, he realized that some humans are not worth it. Rimuru wanted those guys dead. He wanted Clayman dead, and rightfully so. I mean, if you harmed someone I cared about, I would go berserk and mop the floor with you. But the best part about this is the march to the enemy bases. It felt like the Watch of Arlong Park in One Piece, but worse. This is my favorite part about Season 2. You remember how I stated the action or the flexes were not my favorite part about the show? I take it all back. Kill them all, Rimuru. Yes, they deserve it. Kill them. They killed Shion, my #1 waifu of the show. How could they? Yes. Yes, fuck that guy, and that guy, and that guy! Don't let a single one of them live. They must all die! Wait, sorry, I started freaking out a bit, but when you hurt or kill one of my favorite characters or waifus, the enemies must die. The best part, Rimuru was not the only one with the flexes. I mean, look at Benimaru over there, destroying an entire camp by himself. Holy shit, look at Sue and Gabiru. Or just all the Dragon News. Wow, we get a rematch between the old man, Master Hakaru, and the other worlder. Your king kicking ass, he's taking the name of the other worlder and kicking his butt, the usual. Now, let's go back to the best rematch of the century. Well, never mind, actually. It wasn't even a rematch, more of a devastation, without holding back or being limited. He's a third-rate swordsman with a fourth-rate skill. Yep, there goes his head. Let's face it, the second best part of this march is the king trying to belittle Rimuru like a fucking idiot. Hey, we're not going to war with you. I was just trying to test to see if you guys were friendly by killing you guys. Then we're gonna, go out, get some sake, we're gonna have a party because you guys passed the test. We kicked your ass, but hey, we're doing that, and guess what? It's an honor. But since you know, it's an honor to be in a treaty with us. And then arm gets cut off. Let's fucking go! Guys, we now have a new Demon Lord after that. And wait, there's a new race called Demon Slime? What a great name! And look at all these resistances and skills. Oh my gosh, this is too OP. Then he summoned Noir or Demon Black on top of becoming a Demon Lord. And honestly, this was one of my favorite characters of the show. And I got invested into this character. And this guy's name is Diablo, given by Rimuru, who is also one of my favorite characters of the show. I mean, is Diablo on the side of Rimuru? Or is he against him? This is just me going off Season 2, Part 1 in the manga, well, light novel. And then Part 2 answers it, saying, no, he's on the Rimuru side. Yeah, stop being a fucking dumbass. That's what the light novel said to me. Even though those questions weren't answered, they can wait for another time because I do not care either way. I would not change my opinion of Diablo because he is epic. But the story has become absolutely fantastic and it has gotten me more involved than before. I am so happy to have gotten back into this series, and this video is my praise of it. I mean, going to the end of episode 35, that OST playing made that moment so much better, that it brought tears to my eyes. This show is truly incredible and honestly would make it into my top 50 favorite anime of all time. It is not my favorite isekai by any means, because there were still times where I was not enjoying myself, but they never diminished my experience completely. Now, I know I've done nothing but praise this show as of now, but that does not mean I do not have criticisms at all. Some of the episodes made me bored, like the intro to the lizard people, or hell, even the students that he trained. Those bored me. Those episodes bored the crap out of me. The plot may not be all there completely, and I think that is by far the weakest part of this show, but it doesn't completely bring it down. The world building was done really well, and they made a very well done world for an isekai. I got invested in seeing other villages, town, nations, and then on top of that, seeing Rimmer build up his nation from scratch was when the show was at its best. I mean, compared to other isekais, I think this is one of the more fleshed out worlds. Now, do not take this as a perfect, flawless isekai or anime, because it's far from it, but you do not need flawless that is reveled by all as one of the greatest anime, because it's not, but it is fun to watch, and getting the entertainment value of any media that is rewatchable and getting the same level of enjoyment is what makes a great show. But honestly, I can see why people could have this in their top 3 favorite isekais of all time, or even the number 1 favorite. It's far from the best for me, but it doesn't have to be the best to be good, because the journey was so great, and honestly, I'll be waiting for another season myself. And let's face it, the best thing I can say about this show is that it's better than My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer.